Okay, so earlier this week, much earlier this week, I did another planner video, and something happened with my phone, and it got deleted. So this one may not be as good as that one would have been, but here you go. So this is my Hobonichi that I am still using, and so here's an update on how that's going and what I stopped doing, what I'm still doing, and how all that is working out. As you can see, my Hobonichi is still very plain, aside from a little bit of dirt and some dust and stuff. This cover on cover like picks up dust and things like a magnet, and some of it gets underneath. I'm not really much of a stickery person, or photos or collages or any of that kind of thing. So I know some of you are huge fans of putting things in between your cover and your cover on cover and decorating it, and that's all super fun, and it's great if you're into that. It's not my thing. I just like having it nice and plain, and so it is what it is. I do have one sticker in here because I generally put stickers like this on my car, or my Jeep, I should say. I have a big steel tubular bumper that just cries out for bumper stickers. But there wasn't any room for it, so, and I still have a few more in here from like places and stuff that I'll put on when one of the ones that's on there now falls off or fades or crumbles or whatever. So I stuck this here for now. Aside from other little tchotchkes and doodahs, I really only have this. It says Pokemon, otherwise I have no idea what it is, but a little kid at after school a couple years ago handed it to me, and I stuck it in my planner, and I just keep transferring it because it's cute, and it's a nice reminder that occasionally the kids that I work with are good and awesome, and yeah. Every once in a while, you kind of need that. If you work with kids, you need a reminder that they are not as terrible as they are in the moment that you are ready to pull your hair out. So I also have a couple of business cards, one from the watch shop that fixes my watch. I have a little SKU from a gi that I liked, so that next time I go to order another martial arts uniform, I can pull this out and I'll remember which one it was. I have these little flags in here that I use along the side for marking things where I know I put a note there, or it's a schedule of something and I want to keep track of where it was. I find these way more useful than, I know some people use like the tracking area as like an index kind of thing, and that's great if it works for you. I was never really a bullet journaler, so these just work way better for me than the indexing system. I also have some of these little tabby things, and the little tabby things I tend to put up here. And the reason I have more here is because I also have them in my separate calendar planner system for all my martial arts curriculum and notes and plans and everything, that I don't put in here because I leave that sometimes sitting on the table next to the floor where I'm teaching, and I just don't want this out around kids. I don't want them to have access to things like my prescriptions that my doctor writes a few months in advance, and so I can just drop them off as it comes up. I don't want them to have access to phone numbers and plans, and frankly sometimes when I write notes and stuff, I use colorful language, and it's just I don't want this laying out where somebody can tear it up or anything. So I also use these to mark all stuff in that. Up here I have the tracker section, the monthly section, the weekly section, and the daily section. And I also have these little tabs with the months on the weekly section, because the weekly section does not have any kind of mark for the months, whereas the daily section has these little tabs with the colors, which I know some people that drives them nuts, and they also put tabs on that section too. The little color things, they work fine for me, so I only put the little tabs on the weekly section. I also use the weekly section very heavily for like upcoming plans and appointments and things instead of the monthly. So being able to quickly flip to a future month works out really well for me. I have the rest of those little tabs in here, the little index tab stickers. I have no idea what I would do with the rest of them, so I just shoved them in here for lack of a better thing to do with them. I also have some stamps in here, like actual stamps, like the kind that you use to send mail. These are so cool because you rub them, and it's the moon, but then it gets dark, it's an eclipse, and I have some other little stamps. I have a couple of postcards, just in case I ever suddenly need to send a postcard. And that's about it in these little pockets. This little pocket here. Like I said, I have a few stickers, but they're, more Jeep stickers. It's just a good place to keep them because that way I'm not rummaging through like drawers in my desk or whatever. On the other side, I have a few bills and a few notes, and that's about it for back here. I have a couple of these that I have used previously, but they're still sticky, so I hung on to them to reuse them. This got a little dirty, whatever. So this tracker indexing kind of section, I tried using it as a tracker, and I just was not good at that. It's not that I wasn't doing the things, or I just could never remember to block off that I did things until much later, and then I could remember which days I did a thing and which days I didn't do a thing, and so it just... Maybe one day I'll figure out how to use the tracker section better, but for now, it is what it is. I know, again, a lot of people use this as an indexing section, so they will write on the day, like, the most important thing that happened that day, or if they make notes or something on the daily sections instead of using it for planning, then they'll make a note of what that is so that they can use it later. I do not do those things, so... I mostly just have birthdays. I've been keeping track of a few books I read. That's about it. Over in the monthly section, I really don't use it for much of anything. I keep notes on when the full moon is coming. And I know it's got a full moon notation, but every month or two, the full moon is about a day or a half a day off in North America from when it's a full moon in Japan. And so just keeping track of that, and whether the full moon is actually full in day or night. I did keep track of when my sister was here for a visit. I used to use it to keep track of my steps and my sleep with my Fitbit. On January, I was highlighting if I hit my step goal, which was 11,000, I would highlight it in blue. And if I hit my sleep goal, which was 7 hours, then I would highlight it in orange. Then in February, I decided to reverse that because I thought it would make more sense. And then I stopped doing it. The Fitbit stopped syncing. It got an update that it didn't like, and it stopped syncing. And once it stopped syncing for several weeks, then it didn't have the right data, and so I kind of fell off the rails with doing this. And then now the thing won't hold a charge, and the band is falling apart for the second time, so I have stopped doing that. I need to get a new Fitbit, I guess, maybe one of these days. But for now, I'm back to using my grandfather-in-law's old watch, which is why I have a watch business card in the front, because every once in a while that needs a new battery or something. Then over here, I have the weekly section. This is from last week. Over here, I've been keeping track of the online courses I've been taking and checking off when I've finished the course for the week. This one actually starts this week, which is not this week, but this week. So that was really just a reminder to kind of start thinking about a project to do for it. And then this is week 2, and week 3 are the same thing. For looping is driving me insane, and so I did not get around to finishing that. I ended up relaxing a lot on Sunday instead of working on that, and so I probably should feel guilty about that, but I don't. I guess I needed to relax a little bit on Sunday, and I spent a lot of quality time with the husband, and that's good too. It's good to spend time with your family instead of working all the time. So on my weekly, I mark off the time that I intend to sleep. And I know a lot of people down here where, clearly almost everyone is sleeping. They will block it off and put in notes or tasks or whatever. I do those on the daily, so I don't really do that on here. I started keeping track of the online courses I've been taking over here, and I need to write them in for this week. But and then I can just check off when I've completed all the assignments for one week. I was doing that on Sundays on the daily section, which is what some of these tabs are. But I found that having to flip back and forth to Sunday wasn't very convenient, so I just have started putting them here, and then I can check them off. So I have work in orange, and the karate classes that I teach marked off, and I write those out every single time so that I know where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. And then the pink is when I'm getting my own personal work done, or working on a class, or applying for something, or whatever. Those are the pink hours. This section here, it really kind of depends. If I haven't been what I call peopling for the bulk of the day, which drains me, then these hours I can be very productive. If, say, the husband goes to watch sports, or he's hanging out with a friend, or whatever. If he's doing something and we're not like hanging out together, then I can get a lot of stuff done in these hours here when other people are out partying, because as of right now, this is very much my day of getting stuff done. Whether it's errands, or catching up on my courses, or catching up on paperwork, or whatever, this is that day. That way I can spend the weekend with my friends and my husband, and I don't have to feel so pressured to get anything accomplished. That may change as my schedule changes, but for right now, this is very much my accomplish all the things day. I tend to hash off the hours that aren't set in stone, so that I always intend to color them in solid as I do or don't do a thing, but I don't ever do that. The hours that I'm supposed to be at work, I put in solid. If I have an appointment that's pretty much set in stone, that I color in solid. And I include travel times. If I need to be at a place at 1 and I know it takes me a half an hour to get there, then I put in that half an hour and I block it off so that I know there's nothing else I'm doing during that time. Because I have a 91 Jeep Wrangler, and it doesn't have a lot of safety equipment other than seatbelts, so I need to pay attention to what I'm doing when I'm traveling. Not only that, but I enjoy driving. I know that a lot of people would not enjoy driving an old Wrangler without AC and no windows in summer in South Florida in the rainy season, but I actually enjoy driving. Not so much commuting per se, where you're sitting in traffic and you're like, but yeah, driving I enjoy, and so I like to. It's a fun car to drive, even if it's raining on you. It's a fun car to drive, so I enjoy just driving and paying attention to driving and enjoying, having a convertible-ish car. It has a bikini top on it. That's what I mean by ish. So over here in the daily section, I do the same kind of thing where I have my sleeping time and household kind of things. So down here is the grocery store, and then work and all. And I have appointments. Anything I need from a store, I run down here. I've still been doing this. It works out very well for dividing up my daily section. I know that a lot of you are very creative. You're very precise. This crookedness would drive you insane. You would have used a ruler. It doesn't bother me at all, so I'm very sorry if it's bugging you and if you're trying to straighten it out on your screen. I'm so sorry. But it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Breaking out extra tools is just not my style. It's a quick line so that I can separate the schedule from over here. This section I tend to write in tasks that I would like to get done during the day but aren't a necessity. Up here I put in things that have to get done on that day, and like I said, down here I put in any kind of errands I need to run. Here in this bottom section I tend to put in my my actual work time, the times that I was there, and then in this other section just any kind of notes, memos, reminders, any kind of thing that I need to include. Here I need to get ink. Can't print things without ink. Up here, again, I just, what I've been working on and my work schedule. I still haven't finished Thursday. For my little color, I know a lot of people like the mild liners. I have this set of iconic 2A pens. I got them from, I don't remember at the moment. I'll put it in the link at the bottom. But I like these a lot. I think they're pretty, and I have them already, so there's no reason to go buy something else. And I like them better than these as far as they have two ends, so I have like a precise line and then a chiseled tip. So that's nice. As for what I write with, mostly it's just the Hobonichi pen that came with it. I tend to prefer something a little finer, but this fits very nicely in the pen loop that's on the cover. The clip is sturdy enough that it hasn't broken yet. The pen itself is sturdy enough that it hasn't broken or fallen apart or whatever in my bag. It's a little dirty, but aside from that, like some of the finer point pens that I might use, like say this one, it's too skinny for the pen loop and it's only in one color. This is in two colors, but it's a little skinny for the pen loop. This is actually thicker point than it looks like it would be, and it doesn't have a clip to hold it in the pen loop, and it's only one color. It's cute though. This pen I adore, and it has nice fine points and everything, and it's multifunctional or multicolor, so, and you can put a pencil in here, so it's multifunction too. But this clip is not very sturdy, and the pen body itself is not very sturdy. So I have a feeling if I put this in the pen loop, the clip would come off, this would be crushed by something else in my purse, and I would not be writing with it. So this has a bit of a sturdier clip, but the pen itself, the ink refills that come with it, it's got a pencil refill in it too, but the pen refills that come with it tend to be a little fussy. So if they're stored upside down or sideways or whatever, sometimes they don't want to write when you go to write with them. Whereas this, so far, has written every time I have tried to write with it, and that I appreciate. So, Hobonichi pen it is. Anyway, that is about all I have. So, I hope that this was helpful or entertaining or some other thing that you found useful. And until we talk again, happy planning!